Build a reputation for being accurate, accountable, current, and professional when the situation becomes difficult. The secret hiring blacklist and how you end up on it. The most dangerous hiring blacklist may not be a list at all because it can be one sentence buried inside a recruiting system that you will never see. Strong resume, but would not reconsider. Accepted offer, then disappeared. Interview answers did not match application. Not eligible for rehire. Those notes can outlive the position you originally applied for and quietly affect what happens when another recruiter searches your name months or even years later. The do not hire list is real, but not in the way social media makes it sound. There is no known universal database where every employer secretly shares the names of difficult candidates. What does exist is more ordinary, more fragmented, and sometimes more powerful. Applicant-tracking records, recruiter notes, rehire classifications, reference conversations, background reports, professional networks, and memories inside industries where people repeatedly cross paths. Here is the sticky idea to remember. Hiring risk has a longer memory than hiring potential. A company may forget the impressive answer you gave during an interview, but it may preserve the reason someone checked the box marked "Do not proceed." That matters because hiring is becoming increasingly focused on reducing uncertainty. LinkedIn's 2025 Future of Recruiting report found that 89% of talent acquisition professionals believe measuring quality of hire will become increasingly important, while only 25% feel highly confident that their organizations can measure it effectively. That gap means employers want stronger evidence that a candidate will perform well, but many still cannot predict that reliably. For someone over 40, this creates both danger and opportunity, because a recruiter may rely more heavily on visible signals of risk, including inconsistencies, poor communication, weak references, outdated skills, or unclear motivation. Your next move is to stop treating the hiring process like a collection of separate conversations and start treating it like one permanent credibility test. The first behavior that can place someone on an internal do not hire list is dishonesty that can be verified. That includes changing employment dates to hide a gap, claiming a degree that was never completed, inflating a title, inventing responsibility for a project, or presenting another person's results as your own. An experienced professional may believe a small exaggeration is harmless because the underlying experience is real, but the hiring team may interpret one false detail as evidence that everything else requires investigation. The issue is not whether every resume is checked line by line. The issue is that one contradiction can transform you from an experienced candidate into an avoidable risk. This week, compare your resume, LinkedIn profile, application history, professional biography, and any public company profiles, line by line. Make sure the dates, titles, education, certifications, and major accomplishments tell the same story everywhere. The second path onto the list is not rejection, but unreliability. Candidates cancel interviews without notice, disappear after requesting special scheduling, accept offers they never intend to honor, or use one employer's offer entirely as leverage against another. Changing your mind is not misconduct, and leaving for a better opportunity is sometimes the correct decision. The damage occurs when the candidate handles that decision as though the people on the other side are disposable. This is especially important in specialized industries because the recruiter you ignore today may work for your preferred company 2 years from now. A 5-minute message can protect a reputation that took 20 years to build. The third risk is how you explain conflict. Experienced professionals often have complicated histories involving reorganizations, difficult executives, acquisitions, performance disputes, layoffs, or careers that ended unfairly. The mistake is assuming that proving the former employer was wrong will make the new employer feel safe. It often does the opposite. A hiring manager listening to a 10-minute attack on your former boss may wonder what you will eventually say about them. That does not mean hiding mistreatment or pretending every departure was positive. It means explaining the facts, what you learned, and what you are moving toward without turning the interview into a trial. A strong answer sounds like this. The company reorganized my division, my role was eliminated, and the experience clarified that my strongest value is leading operational change across teams. The past is acknowledged, but it is not allowed to dominate the room. Here is where the story becomes more complicated for workers over 40. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission states that the Age Discrimination in Employment Act protects applicants and employees who are 40 or older from age-based discrimination in hiring and other employment decisions. Legal protection matters, but it does not guarantee that every assumption will be spoken aloud. A recruiter may never say that you appear too old, but may question whether you are adaptable, comfortable, reporting to a younger manager, willing to learn new systems, or likely to remain at the offered salary. Your defense is not trying to appear younger. Your defense is supplying current evidence before the stereotype has room to grow. Mention a recent system you adopted, a process you redesigned, a younger employee you developed, or a measurable result you produced under changing conditions. Do not merely say that you are adaptable, because the strongest response to an assumption is a recent example that makes the assumption difficult to maintain. Pew Research Center reported in December 2024 that 84% of workers age 50 and older said they do more than what is expected of them, compared with 75% of workers ages 30 to 49 and 64% of workers younger than 30. That statistic challenges the idea that older workers lack commitment, but effort alone does not control how employers interpret your value. You may be doing more work while describing it in language that sounds dated, tactical, or disconnected from business results. This week, replace 3 responsibility statements on your resume with consequence statements. Do not say that you managed vendor relationships when you can say that you prevented supply disruptions, protected margin, and retained major customers. Do not say that you supervised a department when you can explain how you reduced errors, shortened delivery time, or stabilized performance during turnover. The fourth path onto a do not hire list is failing a background process because you were unprepared for what it would reveal. The Federal Trade Commission explains that employment background reports can include criminal history, credit information, employment history, and other personal records, depending on the role and applicable law. The FTC also says that when an employer uses a background reporting company, it generally must obtain your written permission and follow required procedures before taking adverse action based on the report. That means a surprising background result should not always remain a mystery. Review your own records, know what may appear, and be ready to explain legitimate discrepancies before they are interpreted without context. A wrong date, a confusing legal record, identity theft, or a position listed under a parent company can sometimes be corrected, but only when you know it exists. The fifth risk is digital behavior that changes the employer's perception of your judgment. SHRM's 2025 Talent Trends research found that 55% of organizations had used social media to connect with potential candidates during the previous year. That statistic is about recruiting, not proof that 55% investigated every applicant online, but it demonstrates how central social platforms have become to the hiring environment. for professionals over 40. The lesson is not to erase your personality or avoid every controversial subject. The lesson is to examine whether your public presence supports the judgment required by the roles you want. Repeated attacks on former employers, confidential workplace details, aggressive arguments, discriminatory comments, or public ridicule of customers can create a risk signal that no resume can overcome. Search your own name, review public posts, check old biographies, and make sure your visible professional identity reflects who you are now rather than who you were during one angry evening 6 years ago. There is also a less dramatic reason candidates become effectively blocked. They repeatedly apply for jobs they do not appear to understand. Applying to 20 unrelated positions inside one company can make a candidate look unfocused rather than enthusiastic. Submitting the same executive resume for an individual contributor role can signal that you either ignored the position or plan to leave as soon as something more senior appears. Before applying, answer one question in writing. Why does this particular role make sense as the next chapter of my career? That answer should shape your resume, introduction, interview examples, and explanation of compensation. The good news is that most people are not on a permanent universal blacklist. They may be dealing with one company's internal record, one damaging reference, one unresolved discrepancy, or one reputation that can be changed through consistent behavior. Start by identifying where your search repeatedly stops. If interviews never arrive, examine positioning and qualifications. If interviews go well but offers do not appear, examine your explanations, references, salary alignment, and executive presence. If offers disappear after screening, request the information you are legally entitled to receive and investigate discrepancies. You cannot control every private note, every bias, or every hiring decision. You can control whether your professional story is consistent, whether your references are prepared, whether your online presence demonstrates judgment, and whether people remember you as honest when circumstances changed. Your years of experience are not the liability. The liability is leaving employers uncertain about how that experience will help them now. The workplace is becoming more automated, more documented, and more cautious, but it still needs people whose judgment can be trusted when the information is incomplete and the consequences are real. Do not build a career around appearing flawless. That is how you stay off the list. Nobody shows you, and become the person hiring teams are willing to advocate for when the final decision is close. Subscribe to Next Role Advisor for practical guidance on staying valuable, adaptable, and employable in the next stage of your career.